I'm a little upset because I actually packed a trout hat for this call and then I forgot it as I left the house.
Dadgummit!
What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the third episode of the 15-Minute Leader. I'm fired up because this morning we have one of my good friends on. His name is Ty Walker. Ty's got a unique story as he has restored a 1930s trout hatchery from its broken place to now it's running in its former glory. And it's a really cool story. And you guys know my heart is to look at unique leaders leading in unique spaces, and Ty's exactly that. So, Ty, why don't you go ahead and share with us what inspired you and your wife Shannon to take on the challenge of restoring a 1930s trout hatchery?
It was one of those things, man. You just sometimes have those God moments where you're like, everything around me is saying, don't do this, but there's something like just inside of you that's like, I have to do this, And I gave up like a lot of really amazing opportunities that people would have killed for to do this thing and got there and went broke in the process and came back. So yeah, man, it's that still small voice, that was kind of what we rolled the dice on.
Restoring that hatchery had to have been pretty challenging. What was the biggest leadership lesson that you and Shannon learned through that whole process?
I think the biggest thing for us was like not take your eyes like off the prize, and the prize for us was getting this trout into the best restaurants in the country. Meanwhile, we were just figuring out how to raise fish. I mean, fighting with the state to be able to process the fish, just the millions of hurdles, but it was all in the pursuit of like this dream, and uh sometimes the chances seem slim, but we just kind of stayed true to what we started, if that makes sense.
Staying true to what you started is super important in anything you're leading in life. I love that, bro. Now, what one of the coolest parts of the story to me is you guys can find out more of Ty's story on his website and his social media handles, which I'll be popping right here in the screen for you to take a peek at. But Ty, you relied on an old book from the 1930s to learn how to run the hatchery. How did trusting that traditional knowledge shape your approach to leadership?
I had to find resources that I could apply to my situation, if that makes sense. So it's a 1930s trout hatchery. I needed old information to be able to understand how they raised trout 100 years ago. So for me, like that book was a who, and like I had mentors that helped me. We always, when we come up with problems in entrepreneurship, we're all always looking for like, how do I fix it? You should never ask the question how. You need to ask the question who, because there's someone out there that can and will help you. So you're looking for someone. Maybe and not to get too weird, but the author of this book, that was the someone. These other people that were raising fish similar to me, they were the who. Does that make sense? Like the how, it's not contextualized. It's like, well, how am I going to raise trout like they did 100 years ago? It's the who kind of puts your mind and your sort of unction towards connecting with people. And that's how you're going to be able to get stuff done.
That's such a good leadership principle because, yeah, you could have worked for hours and hours and maybe found a way to do it. But when you look for the who instead of the how, you're now developing relationships. And
For
those are going to
sure.
pay off dividends, bro. That's huge.
Yeah.
Ty, that kind of leads into the next question because you're now in some of the top restaurants on the East Coast. Like, can you share, like, how did you get into that space and, like, how did you approach this relationally to be there?
Dude, it really like all starts with like your mindset. Like, and I want to say something. When something's created, it's created twice. It's created once in the mind, and then second, it's created in the physical. So if I didn't believe I could actually be in the best restaurants, 3 Michelin stars, then I would never pursue the path to actually see that reality lived out, So self-limiting beliefs, ego, all that stuff actually works it works against like what we say we want and what we say we're pursuing.
Dude, that's such a good response. So like the secret to how I made it was I first imagined it.
And then and then you ask the question, who can help me get there? So anyway, I could go on about that. But yeah, man, what's the next question? 15-minute leader. Let's go.
I love how you're flying through it, bro. But you're flying through it, but you're not losing any like depth at the same time. So it's good. All right, this next question is kind of interesting. You're like a really organic, all natural type of guy. You're not using chemicals, you're not using things that could probably help your business. How do you stay committed to that?
For me, it's just part of like our principle, you know, and like if I want to just go make a big wad of money, then I just need to go do something else, you know? And like for me, it's like I'm in this to like be the best, you know? And a lot, you know, there's this huge movement of like back to the land and natural and organic, and these amazing restaurants, like they'll pay a premium for something that is legit and real. So our mission and vision align with like what the market wants in these like high-end restaurants, you know? So we just we're just running our race, man. You know, like there's a ways to do it easier or faster or whatever, but at the end of the day, like running our race is what's brought us here, and we've got to stay true to who we are and how we're doing things, you know? Yeah.
Dude, I love that. Such a great response. You got to stay true to who you are. It can be easy to chase the dollar sign, but that's not what God's called you to do. And so you're staying in your lane and you're thriving. Ty, as a faith-driven leader, how has your spiritual journey guided decisions that you and Shannon make in regard to the business?
All right, I'm going to say something.
Hmm.
God only let me back that up. God wants you to be successful in the measure that it produces an eternal value in you. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah, it makes
God
sense.
wants you to be successful, but it's unto the level that is producing eternal value, like in my heart and in my will and in my emotions. Like, so God uses like material success to teach us things and show us things. And, and for me, this has been as much about like my personal walk as it has been like about business. Like, first starting with just insecurity. Like God being like, one time he showed me a picture of my order board, and every single restaurant on the board was like a Michelin star restaurant. And I was like, dude, there's no way. And he's like, well, why not? Because he was showing me that I was, um, I had insecurity around how good our product was. Does that make sense, man? So like he
Yeah.
uses he uses he wants us to be successful, but not beyond like what we can really steward, because that ends up contributing to just uh bad habits and just stuff that isn't producing life in us that we're able to like give to others. Does that make sense, man?
100%. You're basically saying God's part of my business and God's going to use this to grow me as well. It's not just to grow this
Well,
thing, it's
bro, for
actually
us,
growing
man,
us.
there's no. Sometimes I wish there was, but bro, there's no like roadmap. There's no like how to be like the number one trout hat, like the greatest trout hat. Like there's no book to follow. So I'm relying on like, Lord, you've led us here and you're helping us, and you know how can I help others? And uh, yeah, dude, it's that's why our thing is like farm food prayer, you know, and um we really we want to steward that like within us, but on the outside, like we want to be excellent, man. Like we want to be the best. Like, and I think that's a witness in and of itself, you know, that we can be the best, you know, because God has given us the tools and abilities to be able to live out our destiny, our calling. And our destiny and callings, they're a version of our best self, you know, and it's up to us to pursue that though. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on that.
That's so good, Ty. Our destiny and our calling is the best version of our own self. Like every God's created all of us with a purpose and this and the giftings, but it's up to us to make sure we get there. And that's so good, dude. I've never heard it
For
worded like that.
sure.
Wow. Okay, bro, last
Yeah.
question for you. Any advice that you'd give to somebody who's looking at starting their own business?
Dude, you gotta look, your goals don't matter at all, your hopes don't matter, your dreams don't matter. The only thing that matters is your habits. Because if your habits are moving you towards your goal, you'll inevitably get to your goal. But your habits are the only thing that's going to get you there. Like, dude, I make 5 or 6, 7 sales calls every day. Every day, it's just habit. So it's like spending time with the Lord, or we put so much emphasis on hopes and dreams, and all those are amazing. But the only thing that it's going to get you there is a habit that is moving you towards that dream or hope or vision like every day. So that would be like, A, don't make any excuses of anything, and B, like, have good habits. That would be my, maybe not the most fun answer, but that's what's going to get you there. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what everybody needs to hear. Consistency is the key that unlocks your breakthrough. It's so good, Ty.
For
I
sure.
love that, bro. Um,
Sick, dude.
Ty, I think we crushed this. I think we hit it right at 15 minutes on the dot. How is it? What's the best way for people to get in touch with you if they want to contact Smoke and Chimneys?
Yeah, man. Just smokingchimneys.com, or, hit us up on Instagram at smokingchimneys. Yeah. Order a trout box. We'll ship it right to your house. Smoked trout, man. Let's do it.
Love it, dude. Thank you so much for your time today, Ty. It's an interesting take, and it was full of wisdom. So I appreciate your time, bro, and blessings to Smoke and Chimneys and you and your family.
Thanks, Garrett. Appreciate you, man.
All right, see you, bro.
All right, see ya.